everyone, this video will be discussing some tips and tricks you will need to know about the IB subject, economics. So if you're an econ student, whether you're HL or SL, this video will be useful for you to score a high grade in your economics IB exam. Okay, so now that you know you're watching the right video, let's now see how economics exams look like. Okay, so economics consists of 3 papers for HL and 2 papers for SL, and also an internal assessment. So because there's more paper for HL, you will expect the weighting to be different, and I will further discuss that deeper into the video. Okay, so let's talk about paper 1. Paper 1, as you can see, it's 1 hour and 15 minutes long, and it's 75 minutes. Okay, so the first piece of advice I'll give is you really need to take advantage of the 5-minute reading time before the exam. It's not like you don't get 5-minute reading time on other exams. In fact, you get it in all the exams. But for me personally, I feel like this 5-minute reading time is especially useful for paper 1. And okay, here's why. You only have 75 minutes to write literally 2 long essays, and for the 5-minute reading time, you really need to take advantage of that time to choose your question, choose what question you'll take, and think of all the analysis and discussion you will write in your essay. And when that time starts, you have to literally keep writing for the whole 75 minutes, and there's not much time to think or to really do the deep critical thinking when you are writing, because you will do that in the whole the whole 5 minutes of the exam. Okay, so now let's talk about time management. So whatever question you choose, it will still be divided into 2 questions, which is a 10-mark question and a 15-mark question. My piece of advice is you will spend 20 to 25 minutes on the 10-mark question and leave the rest to the 15-mark question. This is because 10-mark question, it is more simple. You don't need to draw a lot of diagram. I believe 1 diagram may be enough for you to score an L5, and you don't need an evaluation for the 10-mark question. So this leaves you with more time in answering the 15-mark question, which in fact needs evaluation. So you'll spend more time doing the 15-mark question because it will require more diagram, I'm pretty sure, and you'll need an evaluation, unlike the 10-mark question. So, and other than that, you'll need to use real-world examples. So my advice for trying to remember the real-world examples are, for me, I use the same countries, and I try to use the same country for all my real-world examples. So for example, the inflation rate of Spain in this year and the unemployment rate or whatever policy they implement, I'll try to remember all that just for one country, because I find it easier to do that. And another piece of advice I'll give is try to go for macroeconomics, which usually appear in question 2, because there's a lot to discuss in in macroeconomics, the policies you can discuss like fiscal policy, monetary policy, you can discuss inequality, unemployment, inflation. There's a lot to discuss, and I feel like you can score higher marks if you choose macroeconomics. Okay, next paper 2. So for paper 2, you'll get a longer time, which is 1 hour and 45 minutes or 105 minutes. And for the time duration, for the time management, I think you should spend almost equally on each section, but you can try to spend more time in section B than section A, because section A, it's literally the heaven for every economic student. The questions that appear are usually easy, low-mark questions that you will definitely be able to answer. If you review your economics properly, I'm pretty sure you can get like at least a 20 out of 25 in section A. So in section A, you'll usually have to give 2 definitions of a few common economic terms. You'll then be asked to draw a diagram or to do a calculation, and after that there will be 4 questions, 4-mark questions, where I feel like that will be pretty simple and easy to answer if you review properly. So for section B, I think you should spend at least 55 minutes on it, and it's also a 15-mark question just like paper 1. However, what's different from paper 1 is that you don't really need to use a real-world example that you have to remember. The real-world example that you use will usually come from the article or the extract that you are given with, and I feel like this is very helpful because lately IB has been focusing on a lot of real examples, and you can really take advantage of those real examples and implement it in your 15-mark essay. And for paper 3, this is HL only, so if you're an SL student, you can skip instantly to the internal assessment part. Okay, for paper 3, we have the same duration as paper 2, which is 105 minutes, and it will come in 2 questions, and I suggest you spend 50 minutes on each question. So for each question, it will be in 30 marks, and it will usually be in a few structured questions, and then accompanied by a 10-mark question at the end So my advice is we spend around 20-30 minutes on the easy structured questions. Well, I mean, it's not that easy, but it'll be more simple. And for the 10-mark essay, it'll be recommended that you spend around 20 minutes around. So my advice for this paper is that you should definitely focus on those HL chapters like perfect competition, monopoly, oligopoly, or monopolistic competition. Because those subjects regarding market power will always come out in paper 3 from my experience. If you do past papers from previous years, you'll always see those chapters coming out, and it's worth quite a lot of marks, so it is definitely worth it to review it so you could answer it properly in the exam. And another advice I would give is maybe you can study the policy properly, especially for the 10-mark question, because I feel like that will be challenging for us to answer. And that's it for sorry, I forgot there's internal assessment. Okay, so for our internal assessment, we will have a portfolio consisting of 3 commentaries, and each commentary will be based on the units. These units: microeconomics, macroeconomics, and global economy. And each commentary should not exceed 800 words, or some points might be penalized. And this below are the different key concepts you can use for your commentaries. Please do note that you can only use one. You can only use one key concept for each commentary. So that means, for example, you use interdependence on microeconomics. That means you cannot use it again for macroeconomics. You can only use it once. And another thing to remember is that you have to use an article, obviously, and the article should come from different sources. So, for example, you use BBC News for commentary 1. That means you need to use other sources for commentary 2. And another thing to note for the article is that it should be 1 year prior from the published date, which means cannot be more than 1 year old when you are writing the commentary. So when you write the commentary, the article should be less than a year ago, or you will be penalized for the internal assessment. And my advice for this internal assessment is you should really dive in and review your economic knowledge, because it will definitely be very helpful for the analysis of these commentaries. You should also use some extract from the text to support your internal assessment or your analysis. And for the diagrams, you should definitely practice it. Make sure you make no mistakes in the diagram. And the number of diagrams, I don't think that matters as much. What matters is that you use the diagram properly and appropriately regarding to your discussion and analysis. So okay, that's it for today's economic video. There are more advices that I would like to give. So number 1, I would really advise you all to really review macroeconomics properly. Because that unit, it comes out a lot in all the papers. Literally, most of the questions, it is regarding macroeconomics. So I feel like if you really review macroeconomics properly, you can score a good amount of marks. I'm not saying that other units are useless and that you don't need to study it. Of course, you need to study micro and of course global economy, but I'd say you should put extra focus and extra review on macroeconomics. And another advice I would give is, if you are improved, just do past papers. And for you to do really well, it's just keep practicing. That's how you score very well in every exams, which is practicing. And make sure you review the mark scheme as well, because other than having the knowledge to answer the questions properly, you can also learn how and what types of answers that will be appearing in the mark scheme, so you know what to write, and therefore it will achieve you higher marks. And that's it for the video. I hope all the information I shared will be helpful for everyone watching. Thank you all for watching, and good luck for your IB exams.